We all have that one ordinary day that turns into a story we never forget. A day that starts just like any other, but ends up redrawing the map of our lives. For me, that day was a Tuesday. A painfully average, forgettable Tuesday. Or so I thought. The morning was a blur of routine. The same shrill alarm to sign a half-hearted stretch. The same bitter coffee. I remember standing by the window, watching the city wake up. A symphony of car horns and distant sirens. Just another day in the urban jungle. I threw on a t-shirt and jeans, grabbed my keys, and walked out the door, completely oblivious that the universe had something else planned. The air was thick with the smell of exhaust and street-side food vendors. I remember thinking about a project deadline at work, about what to have for lunch, about the weekend that felt a million miles away. All the mundane, trivial thoughts that fill the empty spaces of our days. I got to the office, sat at my desk, and drowned in a sea of emails. The hours ticked by, marked only by the shifting light outside my window. Lunch was a sad desk salad. The afternoon dragged on. It was the kind of day you ain't even bothered to remember because it feels like you've relived it 100 times before. And that's the thing, isn't it? We move through these ordinary days on autopilot, assuming tomorrow will be just like today. We take the steady rhythm of our lives for granted, never suspecting that the ground is about to shift beneath our feet. Around 4 p.m., my phone buzzed. An unknown number. I almost ignored it. Probably a spam call trying to sell me an extended car warranty. But for some reason, I answered. A hesitant voice on the other end asked, "Is this Alex?" A knot of unease started to form in my stomach. The voice was strained, professional yet heavy with an emotion it was trying to suppress. It was a nurse from the city hospital. The world around me started to fade into a dull, muffled hum. The clicking of keyboards, the office chatter, it all just dissolved. She said my parents had been in an accident, a head-on collision on the interstate. They were on their way back from a weekend trip. The words accident, critical, and hospital echoed in the sudden, deafening silence of my mind. I remember my hand shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. He kept sighing. "Oh ho oh ho ho. Hoo ho. Hoo ho. K. Hoo ho. Hoo ho. Hoo ho." Meh. Hoo ho. Hoo ho. Hoo ho. My body went cold. The project deadline, the lunch plans, the weekend it all evaporated. In that single moment, my entire world, the one I had woken up in that morning, ceased to exist. I don't remember leaving the office. I don't remember the drive to the hospital. All I remember is the blinding fluorescent lights of the emergency room hallway. It smelled of antiseptic and fear. A doctor with tired eyes and a kind face sat me down in a small, sterile family room. He spoke in calm, measured tones, explaining the severity of their injuries. The words were a torrent of medical jargon that I couldn't process. All I could hear was the unspoken finality in his voice. Time became a strange, syrupy substance. Minutes stretched into hours. I sat there, staring at a cheap, generic landscape painting on the wall, trying to make sense of the new reality that had just been violently thrust upon me. How could a day that started with coffee and emails end here? How could the two people who were the very foundation of my world be fighting for their lives? Just a few doors down. That night, everything changed. I went from being a son to being a caretaker, a decision maker, a pillar of strength I never knew I had to be. The following weeks were a whirlwind of surgeries, beeping machines, and hushed conversations with doctors. I learned a new language, the language of prognoses, of recovery percentages, of hope and despair. My life, once a straight, predictable line, was now a chaotic scribble. The journey was long and agonizing. There were setbacks. There were moments of gut-wrenching fear where I thought I'd lose them. But there were also small victories, a flicker of an eyelid, a squeeze of a hand, a whispered word. Each one was a lifeline, pulling us back from the brink. My parents, with the strength I'd always taken for granted, fought their way back, slowly, painfully, but with relentless courage. Looking back, that Tuesday wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of a new one. It was the day I learned about the fragility of life and the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It taught me that strength isn't about never falling. It's about how you get back up. It forced me to reevaluate everything: my priorities, my relationships, the way I was living my life. Before the accident, I was just drifting, going through the motions. That unexpected call was a brutal, terrifying wake-up. It shattered my complacency and forced me to truly live, to be present, to appreciate the simple, ordinary moments, the quiet morning coffees, the mundane conversations, the simple presence of the people you love. Because you never know which ordinary day will be the one that changes everything. Every sunrise carries the potential to redefine us, and every single moment is a gift. Don't wait for a crisis to start truly living. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It means the world. Take care of yourselves and each other.